This has come to be the standard view of Mount St. Helens from the north across Spirit Lake. Here where the trees were knocked flat 2.5 years ago, where shrubs are making enough of a comeback now to bloom in the late summer sun. Closer to the crater, across the vast pumice desert where a whole side of the mountain is buried, underground water steams to the surface from hot rocks below. This is a land of eerie grandeur, now a national monument, but a land known mostly to earth scientists, the geologists, and to their helicopter pilots. This day, the U.S. Geological Survey said we could join their crater crew, working there on the south side of the lava dome, a dome that has grown now to nearly cover the floor of the crater. As the helicopter landed here 6,000 feet above sea level, we realized that if this dome keeps growing, the geologists will soon be driven out, unable to work in what they call the backside of the dome. As it was, our helicopter could not stay. It had to fly out to a safe distance. But even this departure gave us a chance to demonstrate the size of this place. With the helicopter gone, we had expected to be left in silence. What we found instead was the most awesome part of our visit. The walls of the crater, a 2,000-foot-high horseshoe of stratified cliffs, were alive with falling rocks. Some rock falls were as loud as gunshots, the distance from us so great we saw the strikes before we heard the sound. That sound kept up the whole 2.5 hours we were in the crater. We set off, picking a treacherous path through a cavern of pumice and dacite rock, much of it thrown down here during the last eruption, August 17th. And we found that even those who come here often feel a certain awe and amazement when they stand in boots warmed by the crater floor, in steam swirling up their pant legs, there beside a 700-foot-high dome of new earth.
Every time you come in after an eruption, you're amazed at the changes. The scale of the movements are so large, and it's always gawking and everything.
We found it impossible to describe the size of this crater without putting someone like me in it. I'm 5 feet 9 inches tall. The boulder behind me literally dwarfs me. There are some down the way a little bit that are the size of small houses. All of the material out here has been thrown out in past eruptions, either explosive eruptions, or as the dome has grown, it's rolled off, some of them very large, like this over here. This very large rock, big as a house, certainly, rolled down here during the last eruption about 2 weeks ago. And as it did, it cut a very deep trench, about 10 feet deep, and came to rest right here. And since then, it's cracked, and you can see heat rising from the crack. As it continues to cool, it will break down even more until it's broken down into very small pieces. The eruption that threw down these massive boulders also destroyed many of the instruments that scientists like Christina Helliker had used to predict it so precisely. So their assignment this day was to replace markers on the highest rocks of the dome.
It's just a painted board with a prism reflector on it, and this is used to return the laser beam that we shoot up to it.
Bill Chadwick's job was to climb the lava dome that now caps the Mount St. Helens magma vent to put those markers in place.
We have a higher tolerance for danger than most people probably, but it's part of the job.
The precise laser measurements Christina Helliker takes now will be compared with others from the same location in the weeks ahead. And when she starts seeing big changes in the rate of movement, we'll know another eruption is very close. Why do it? Why? I mean, what's necessary here?
Well, predictions have obvious use for, for determining risk, to lives and property of people and things around the volcano. Also, well, the more we understand this particular volcano, the more we can maybe understand other volcanoes around the world. From a personal standpoint, it's fascinating.
Awe-inspiring is more the word. From the largest scientific laboratory in the world, with photographer Milt Ritter, in focus, I'm Neal Rosenau, News 8.